After over a decade, Avatar 2 is finally here, and I certainly felt my age here. When I saw the first one, I was in my 20s, went to the midnight showing, and when it was done, I was still perfectly alert. With this, I'm in my 40s, went to the 7 p.m. show, and when this one was done, I was really tired and was like, shit, this is way past my bedtime. Avatar: The Way of Water is the spectacle you expect it to be. Good lord, I've actually seen this movie 1.25 times. I was originally at the earliest screening of the day, which was on a medium-sized screen with the sound not great, so like a half hour in, I was like, yeah, I should probably be watching this on the RPX screen. So I got a ticket for a later show. Then was seated next to a guy who was playing on his phone through the whole thing, and he was a gross bastard too. Luckily there were some seats next to me that were open, so I just moved down a few. Anyway, as for the movie, visually everything works here. When you combine the 3D with the cinematography and the action, my god, do you feel like you're actually there, exploring this world, hanging with these characters above ground or underwater. It's also shot in a much higher frame rate, which has been something I haven't liked in the past. In this, it works in the sense that you look at these characters, the animals, the sea creatures, and you're like, shit, that looks real. You buy that all of this is happening and you're standing right there with them. Granted, I don't need every movie to look like this, because it is noticeable when it switches over into a higher frame rate. And it can sometimes give it too much of a video game cutscene feel in regards to the character movements and the camera movements. And instinctively I'd be thinking, will someone turn the damn motion smoothing off of this TV? There are some things that this movie does better than the first. The story isn't quite as cut and paste from other movies in the past, though there are moments where the movie could easily turn into Jungle to Jungle, and there is a subplot that's pretty much a sci-fi orca. That worked for me. This whale was maybe the most badass character in the movie. You do get to see a lot more of the world here than in the first, and Jake Sully is a more interesting character here. It helps that it really is his whole family that are the leads instead of just him, and being a father now and a much older character does give him more layers. The best acting, though, does go to Zoe Saldana, who is fantastic here. And Stephen Lang is always great. In this, sure, he's back to being that evil military figure we remember from the first, but even he's given an interesting revenge plot line, and he's also got more dimensions to his character, too. I wouldn't go so far as to say either character are complex, really, but they do build on him here. And the villains here do some evil shit that does make you want to see their comeuppance, and they are lucky this isn't a sci-fi version of Cannibal Holocaust. The climax is full of all the James Cameron carnage you expect, with explosions, fairly brutal deaths, people being crushed, flung in the air. It's chaos. Because of all of those technical achievements that really did give me my money's worth and make me glad I saw it in theaters, I'll easily give this a high B+, because I did really like it. But I don't love it. It's not a great film. It is too long, and when you're watching it, you can feel it when there's a sequence that could maybe not necessarily be cut out entirely, but severely trimmed. Even some of the eye candy moments, like all of the underwater stuff, which looks gorgeous, sure, but even that is like, okay, we've been here for a while. And I'll say it, a lot of the dialogue is really, really bad. It is kind of weird seeing some of these Na'vi characters say things like, hey bro, that was sick, cuz. Whoa, what was that? Shit. The family will be flying around and the kid will say something like, are we there yet? Stephen Lang does have some good lines, like, when you kill us, we just regroup in hell. But even he's got a little too familiar stuff, like saying, we're not in Kansas anymore. I do respect that this movie has created a true theatrical experience. Same with some great movies this year like Top Gun Maverick and RRR. The difference, and why I like those movies better, is that not only do those films give you your money's worth for being theatrical masterpieces, but they give you these characters that are wildly memorable and stories that are engaging and keep you pretty hooked, and that goes hand in hand with all of the stunt work and action that you're seeing. It's a must to see them in the theater for the first time, but there's so much great things that I'd have no problem rewatching them at home. This movie, I'm mainly here for the spectacle and probably wouldn't watch it at home. Sure, Jake Sully has done a little better here, but he's still not exactly memorable, and far from being an iconic movie character, which is what this movie would need to make it more than just a great theatrical experience. It's like really digging a 3D theme park attraction, but I'm not gonna see it on my TV. Let us know what you thought of the movie below, and be sure to subscribe to our channel today and click the notification bell, and we'll see you next time.